Once upon a time there was a witch who had 3 sons. They loved each other very much, but the witch mistrusted her children, believing that they were trying to take away her magical powers. The wizard transformed the older boy into the form of an eagle that lived on a high rocky peak and flew up and down in the sky for days, making circles with its flight. The second son also turned into a whale that lived in the depths of the sea, and no one saw a trace of him, except for the powerful fountain that he threw into the air from time to time. The third son, who was the smallest of all, escaped from his mother's house secretly, fearing that she might turn him into a wild animal like a bear or a wolf. He had heard that there was a princess in the palace of the Golden Sun who had been bewitched and was waiting for the day of her release, but anyone who wanted to free her from the spell would risk his life. By that time, 23 young people had suffered a miserable death in this way. Only once more could someone try his luck to save the girl, and after that, no one else had the right to do so. Then this boy, who had a brave heart and a fearless head, decided to reach the palace of the Golden Sun. He trampled everywhere in search of events until he finally reached the deep and endless forest. Suddenly, he saw 2 giants pointing at him. When he went, they told him, "We are fighting over a hat to see which of us will get the money. But our strength is equal and none of us can win this fight. Little people are smarter than us, so we want you to settle our quarrel." "Why are you quarrelling over an old hat?" asked the young man. They replied, "You don't know about the properties of this hat. It is a magic hat, and anyone who puts it on their head will be taken anywhere. And he will get there at the same moment." "Give me the hat," said the young man. "I will stay away from you and run to me whenever I call. Whoever arrives first will be the owner of the hat." Then he put the hat on his head and started walking. But because he had no thoughts except the princess, he forgot the giants and continued on his way. Suddenly he sighed from the bottom of his heart and said, "I wish I was in the palace of the Golden Sun." And these words had not yet come out of his mouth when he saw himself on a towering mountain, in front of a magnificent palace. He entered the palace, searched all the rooms, and saw the princess sitting in the last room, but he was very frightened when he saw her. The princess had a grey and wrinkled face with sparkling eyes and red hair. "Are you the princess whose beauty everyone admires?" asked the young man. The girl sighed and said, "This is not my true face, for the eyes can only see me in this ugly form. But in order to see my true face, look in this mirror that does not make mistakes and shows you my true image." Then he took the mirror to him, and he saw in that mirror the face of the most beautiful girl in the world, and he saw that tears of sadness were flowing down her cheeks. Then he asked, "How can you be saved?" "I am not afraid of any danger." "You must get the crystal ball and hold it in front of the witch's eyes to dispel her power, and then I will return to my original form," replied the girl. Then the girl sighed and added, "Many young people have lost their lives in this way." "My heart aches for you, young man, for exposing yourself to such great dangers." "Nothing will stop me from this," said the young man, "so tell me what I must do." "You will know everything," said the princess. "When you go down from this mountain with the palace on it, near the spring, you will see a strong wild bull that you have to fight with. If you can kill it, a fiery bird will come out of its stomach and a molten egg will come out of the bird's stomach, which is a yolk crystal. But the egg will be released if forced. If the bird falls to the ground, it will catch fire and burn. As a result, his egg will also melt, the crystal ball will disappear, and all the efforts will be wasted." The young man went down the mountain. He reached the side of the spring and saw a wild and strong bull panting. Seeing him, the cow roared and attacked him. The young man fought hard with the sword he had in his hand. Finally, the tip of the sword sank into his body and the cow fell to the ground. Suddenly, a fiery bird came out of his stomach and wanted to fly. The eagle, which was the young brother, came from the clouds, landed on the bird's head and caught it on the sea and pierced its body with its tip so that the egg was dying and distressed. He let himself go. But the egg did not fall on the sea, but on the fishing hut and caught fire. At this time, the high waves of the sea rushed to the shore, engulfed the hut and extinguished the fire, because the other young brother, who had become a whale, reached there and threw the seawater towards the hut. When the fire went out, The young man went in search of the egg and found it, which was not yet melted, but its skin was cracked due to the drop of seawater and sudden cooling. As a result, the crystal ball came out easily and without any damage. When the young man went in search of the sorcerer to show him the crystal ball, the sorcerer said, "You have destroyed my power, and as a result, you are now the ruler and king of the Golden Mountain, and you have the power to transform your two brothers. You will bring back your own human being." The young man ran to the princess, and when he entered the room, the girl had regained all her radiance and beauty. Then the two happily gave each other engagement rings.